There's something happening in your life right now that you haven't been able to name. Maybe it's that persistent feeling that you're meant for something more, or the way certain conversations seem to echo in your mind for days. Perhaps it's the strange coincidences that keep showing up, almost like breadcrumbs leading you somewhere you can't quite see yet. You know that feeling when you're driving at night and your headlights only illuminate the next few feet of road, but somehow you trust that the path continues? That's exactly where you are right now. And there's something I need to share with you today that might finally help you understand why everything has been feeling so different. The ancient mystics had a practice that modern neuroscience is now validating in the most unexpected ways. They understood something about the human mind that we're only beginning to rediscover. They knew that there was a specific way of communicating with the universe, not through wishful thinking or positive affirmations, but through a precise method that literally rewires your neural pathways and shifts your electromagnetic field. Today, I'm going to reveal this practice to you. Not just what it is, but how to use it in a way that creates measurable changes in your reality. Because here's what most people don't understand about manifestation: it's not about asking for things. It's about becoming a vibrational match for what already exists in the quantum field. Before we dive deeper, I want you to know something. If you're watching this video, if these words are reaching you right now, there's a reason. The algorithm didn't randomly place this in front of you. Your consciousness called it in. Your higher self guided you here because you're ready for what I'm about to share. If that resonates with you, if you can feel the truth of that in your body, hit that subscribe button. The universe might be using this channel to deliver exactly the messages you need to hear. Let me tell you about Sarah. She was a corporate lawyer who felt completely disconnected from her life. Every morning, she'd wake up with this inexplicable heaviness, like she was wearing clothes that didn't fit her soul. She tried meditation, therapy, vision boards, nothing seemed to shift that deep sense of misalignment. Then she discovered what I'm about to teach you today. She started practicing this specific writing technique every morning for just 10 minutes. Within 3 weeks, unexpected opportunities began appearing. A client mentioned a writing retreat in Tuscany that she'd never heard of but felt called to attend. Her boss offered her a sabbatical she hadn't requested. Within 6 months, she had completely transformed her life, not through force or struggle, but through alignment. The technique Sarah learned is called quantum scripting, and it's based on a profound understanding of how consciousness interfaces with reality. Most people think manifestation is about sending desires out into the universe and waiting for them to come back. But quantum physics tells us something far more interesting: the observer affects the observed. Your consciousness doesn't just perceive reality, it participates in creating it. When you write in a specific way, something extraordinary happens in your brain. The reticular activating system, that part of your nervous system that filters information, begins to reorganize itself. It starts highlighting opportunities, synchronicities, and resources that were always there but previously invisible to you. It's like suddenly being able to see a door that was always in the wall. But here's where it gets really interesting. Recent research in biofield science has shown that focused intention combined with specific writing patterns creates measurable changes in your electromagnetic field. You literally begin broadcasting a different frequency. And since everything in the universe is energy vibrating at different frequencies, you start attracting experiences that match your new vibration. The key is understanding the difference between scripting from desire and scripting from identity. Most people write about what they want from a place of lack: I want to find love, I need more money, I hope to feel happier. This approach actually reinforces the neural pathways of wanting, needing, and hoping, which are all states of not having. Quantum scripting works differently. You write from the perspective of your future self who has already integrated these experiences. You describe not what you want, but who you are becoming and how it feels to live from that place. This activates what neuroscientists call prospective memory, your brain's ability to remember the future. Let me pause for a moment because I can sense some of you might be thinking, this sounds too good to be true. And I understand that skepticism. We've been conditioned to believe that transformation has to be hard, that change requires struggle. But what if that's just another limiting belief we've inherited from a culture that profits from our dissatisfaction? The truth is, your brain doesn't distinguish between vividly imagined experiences and actual experiences when it comes to forming neural pathways. This is why athletes who visualize their performance often improve as much as those who physically practice. When you script from your future self's perspective, you're not just daydreaming, you're literally rehearsing a new reality in your nervous system. There's something else most people don't know about the power of writing. When you put pen to paper, and yes, it needs to be handwritten, not typed, you engage multiple areas of your brain simultaneously. The motor cortex activates as you form the letters. The language centers process the meaning. The emotional centers attach feeling to the words. This creates what researchers call embodied cognition. Your entire nervous system begins to embody the reality you're scripting. The ancient Egyptians understood this principle. Their hieroglyphics weren't just communication tools, they were consciousness technologies. They believed that writing was a form of creation magic, that the act of inscribing thoughts into physical form gave them power to manifest in the material world. Modern quantum field theory is beginning to validate what they intuitively knew thousands of years ago. Now, let me share with you the 5 essential elements that make quantum scripting so powerful. These aren't random techniques, they're based on how consciousness actually works at the deepest levels. The first element is present-future tense. Instead of writing "I will be happy," you write "I am becoming someone who radiates joy." This subtle shift tells your subconscious mind that the transformation is already underway. Your brain begins looking for evidence of this emerging reality right now, not at some undefined future point. The second element is emotional specificity. Don't just write about what you want to experience, describe how it feels in your body. "I feel the warm expansion in my chest when I walk into my dream home," creates a much more powerful neural pathway than "I want to buy a house." Your emotions are the fuel that powers manifestation. The more specific and embodied your emotional descriptions, the stronger the signal you send out into the quantum field. The third element is identity integration. Write about yourself as if you've already become the person who naturally experiences these things. "As someone who trusts the flow of abundance in my life, I notice opportunities everywhere," creates a completely different neural network than "I hope money comes to me." You're literally programming your self-concept to match your desired reality. The fourth element is gratitude embedding. But not gratitude for what you hope will happen, gratitude for what's already shifting. "I'm grateful for the courage that's growing stronger in me each day," acknowledges the transformation that's already underway. This keeps you in a state of receptivity rather than resistance. The fifth element is quantum coherence. This is where it gets really advanced. You write about your desired reality as if it exists simultaneously with your current reality, because according to quantum mechanics, it does. "In the dimension where I've already met my soulmate, I feel the deep peace of being truly seen and loved. I'm bringing that frequency into this reality now." But there's something even more profound happening when you practice quantum scripting consistently. You begin to access what Carl Jung called the collective unconscious, the field of shared knowledge and wisdom that connects all consciousness. Your individual desires begin to align with a larger pattern, a cosmic intelligence that's orchestrating synchronicities on your behalf. This is why people who practice quantum scripting often report experiences that seem almost magical. They'll write about meeting a mentor, and within days, someone with exactly the right knowledge appears in their life. They'll script about living in a certain city, and unexpected job opportunities in that location materialize. They'll describe feeling more confident, and situations arise that naturally call forth their courage. It's not magic, it's quantum entanglement on a consciousness level. When you align your personal desires with the larger patterns of growth and evolution, you begin to work with the universe instead of against it. You become a conscious collaborator in your own transformation. The mystic Rumi wrote, "Let yourself be silently drawn by the strange pull of what you really love. It will not lead you astray." Quantum scripting helps you attune to that strange pull, to hear the whispers of your soul's true direction before your mind can interfere with doubt and limitation. Here's what's really fascinating. The most powerful scripts aren't about getting specific things, they're about becoming the type of person who naturally attracts those experiences. When Sarah scripted about being someone who trusted her creativity and intuition, she didn't just find a new career, she discovered a completely new way of being in the world. The external changes were simply a reflection of the internal transformation. This is why quantum scripting works when other manifestation techniques fail. Vision boards show you pictures of what you think you want. Affirmations try to convince you of what you don't quite believe. But scripting from your future self's perspective bypasses the conscious mind's resistance and speaks directly to the subconscious, which doesn't argue, it just creates whatever reality you consistently imagine. There's a specific time of day when this practice becomes even more powerful. The moments right after you wake up and right before you fall asleep are when your brainwaves are in the theta state, the same frequency associated with deep meditation and heightened creativity. In this state, the barrier between conscious and subconscious mind is most permeable. Your scripts can literally download into your operating system with minimal resistance. I want to address something that might be coming up for you right now. Maybe you're thinking about all the times you've tried to change your life and nothing happened. Maybe you're wondering if this is just another technique that will disappoint you. I want you to know that those feelings are completely valid, and they're actually pointing to something important. The reason most manifestation techniques fail is because they operate from the paradigm of the separate self, the ego that believes it has to make things happen through will and effort. But quantum scripting works from the understanding that you're not separate from the field of infinite possibilities. You're an expression of it. You're not trying to get something from the universe, you're learning to align with what the universe is already trying to give you. If this perspective is resonating with you, if you can feel a shift happening in your understanding right now, I want to invite you to subscribe to this channel. Think of it as saying yes to more insights like this, as opening yourself to receive the guidance that's trying to reach you. The universe often speaks to us through the content that finds its way into our lives. Let me share with you what happened to Marcus, a musician who had been struggling to make ends meet for years. He was talented, hardworking, dedicated, but success seemed to elude him no matter how hard he tried. He was operating from the old paradigm of effort and struggle. Then he learned about quantum scripting and began writing from the perspective of someone who was already aligned with his musical gifts and the abundance they naturally attracted. Instead of scripting about getting record deals or making money, he wrote about being the kind of musician who creates from pure inspiration and trusts that the universe supports authentic expression. He described the feeling of knowing that his music was exactly what certain people needed to hear at exactly the right time. He scripted about being a clear channel for creativity and feeling deeply grateful for this gift. Within 2 months, something shifted. Not just externally, though the external changes were remarkable. A producer heard one of his songs at a small venue and was moved to tears. A licensing opportunity came through a friend of a friend that he'd never expected. But more importantly, Marcus himself had changed. He was no longer anxious and desperate about his career. He had become someone who trusted his path and created from joy rather than fear. This is the real power of quantum scripting. It doesn't just change your circumstances, it transforms your entire relationship with life. You stop being someone who hopes things will work out and become someone who knows they already are working out, even when you can't see the full picture yet. The most profound scripts are the ones that address not just what you want to experience, but who you're being called to become. Because here's something most people don't realize: your soul doesn't actually care about the specific details of your desires. It cares about the qualities of consciousness you're developing through the pursuit of those desires. Maybe you think you want a romantic relationship, but what your soul really wants is for you to learn how to love yourself so deeply that you overflow with love for others. Maybe you think you want financial abundance, but what's really calling you is the freedom to express your gifts without limitation. Maybe you think you want recognition, but what you truly crave is the inner knowing that you matter, that your unique perspective is valuable. When you script from this deeper level of understanding, something magical happens. The universe begins orchestrating experiences that serve your highest growth, not just your immediate desires. And often, those experiences are far more beautiful and fulfilling than anything your limited mind could have imagined. This is why the most powerful scripts include language like, "I'm becoming someone who," or "I'm learning to," or "I'm discovering that I'm the kind of person who." This language acknowledges that transformation is a process, not a destination. It honors the journey while simultaneously calling in the experiences that support your evolution. There's another element to quantum scripting that most people overlook: the power of writing about your challenges from your future self's perspective. Instead of scripting only about positive experiences, write about how your transformed self views and responds to difficulties. As someone who has learned to trust life's timing, I feel peaceful even when things don't happen as quickly as my mind would prefer. This type of scripting doesn't try to eliminate challenges, it transforms your relationship with them. You begin to embody wisdom before you've fully earned it through experience. You rehearse resilience, trust, and inner peace until they become your natural response to life's inevitable uncertainties. The ancient Stoics understood this principle. They practiced what they called premeditatio malorum, imagining challenges ahead of time so they could rehearse their ideal response. But quantum scripting takes this practice even further. You're not just preparing for difficulties, you're embodying the consciousness that transforms difficulties into opportunities for growth and deeper alignment. This is where quantum scripting becomes truly transformational. You stop trying to create a life without problems and start becoming someone who dances with life's complexities with grace and wisdom. You write yourself into being the kind of person who finds meaning in challenges, who sees obstacles as invitations to discover hidden strengths, who trusts that every experience is somehow serving your highest good. Let me share something that might surprise you. The most successful people I know who practice quantum scripting spend more time writing about their inner state than their outer circumstances. They script about feeling deeply grateful for their journey, about trusting their intuition, about being open to possibilities they haven't even imagined yet. This is because they understand something profound: your outer reality is always a reflection of your inner reality. When you change your inner landscape through scripting, your outer world has no choice but to rearrange itself to match your new frequency. It's not magic, it's physics. Energy always seeks its own level. When you write about feeling abundant before you see evidence of abundance in your bank account, you're not being delusional, you're being quantum. You're recognizing that abundance is first and foremost a state of consciousness. Money, opportunities, and resources are simply the material expressions of that consciousness. When you script about feeling deeply loved before your ideal relationship appears, you're not living in fantasy, you're living in truth. Love is your natural state. The relationship is just the mirror that reflects what you've already cultivated within yourself. This brings us to what I consider the most advanced level of quantum scripting: writing about your connection to something greater than yourself. This could be God, the universe, source, divine intelligence, whatever language resonates with your understanding. The key is scripting from the knowing that you're not doing this alone. I feel held and guided by an intelligence that loves me beyond my understanding. I trust that every step of my journey is perfectly orchestrated for my highest good and the good of all. When you script from this level of consciousness, you align with forces far beyond your individual will. You become a co-creator with the universe itself. This is where people often report experiences that can only be described as miraculous. Not because they're defying natural law, but because they're finally aligned with natural law at its deepest level. They're working with the fundamental creative force of the universe rather than against it. The physicist David Bohm wrote about what he called the implicate order, the unseen field of potential from which all manifest reality emerges. When you script from connection to this deeper intelligence, you're essentially programming yourself to perceive and participate in this implicate order. You begin to live as a conscious collaborator in the universe's creative process. Now, I want to share with you a specific approach that can dramatically amplify the power of your quantum scripting practice. It's called timeline integration, and it's based on understanding that all time exists simultaneously in the quantum field. You begin by writing about your current self with deep appreciation. I honor the courage it took to get me where I am today. Every challenge has been preparing me for who I'm becoming. Then you shift to writing from your future self looking back. I remember when I was just beginning to trust this process. I send love and encouragement to that version of myself. This creates a bridge of consciousness between different versions of yourself across time. Your current self receives encouragement from your future self, while your future self is empowered by the appreciation from your current self. It's a loop of support and wisdom that exists outside linear time. People who practice timeline integration often report experiencing a profound sense of being supported and guided. They feel less alone in their journey because they've activated a relationship with their own expanded consciousness across multiple timelines. It's like having access to the wisdom of your future self while still honoring the journey of your current self. There's something else I need to tell you about quantum scripting that most teachers never mention: the importance of writing about uncertainty with grace. Life rarely unfolds exactly as we expect, and the most powerful scripts acknowledge this reality while maintaining trust in the process. Even when I can't see the next step clearly, I feel the deep knowing that I'm exactly where I need to be. I trust that uncertainty is often the gateway to possibilities I couldn't have imagined. This type of scripting doesn't try to control outcomes, it cultivates the consciousness that can dance with the unknown. This is crucial because the universe often has plans for us that are far grander than our limited perspective can conceive. When we script with attachment to specific outcomes, we can actually limit the magic that wants to unfold through our lives. But when we script with open-ended trust, we create space for miracles. The mystic Meister Eckhart wrote, "God is not found in the soul by adding anything, but by a process of subtraction." Quantum scripting works the same way. It's not about adding desires to your reality, it's about subtracting the limitations that prevent you from experiencing what already wants to emerge through you. As we near the end of our time together, I want to address something that might be stirring in your heart right now. Maybe you're feeling a mixture of excitement and fear. Maybe part of you is ready to embrace this practice while another part is scared of disappointment. These feelings are not obstacles, they're exactly what you need to include in your scripting practice. I feel both excited and scared about stepping into my power, and I love myself for having the courage to feel both emotions fully. I'm becoming someone who moves forward even when I don't feel completely ready. This type of emotional honesty in your scripting creates authenticity and self-compassion, which are essential ingredients for lasting transformation. The goal isn't to eliminate fear or doubt, it's to become someone who includes these natural human emotions in your journey toward expansion. When you script with complete self-acceptance, you stop waiting to feel perfect before taking action. You become someone who acts from love even in the presence of fear. Here's what I want you to understand more than anything else: quantum scripting isn't about getting the universe to give you what you want. It's about becoming so aligned with your true nature that what you attract is naturally in harmony with your highest good and the good of all beings. When you script from this level of consciousness, you're not manipulating reality, you're participating in the universe's desire to know itself through infinite expressions of creativity and love. You become a unique note in the cosmic symphony, and your individual desires harmonize with the greater music of existence. This is why people who practice quantum scripting often find that their desires evolve as they do. What they thought they wanted transforms into something even more beautiful and fulfilling. They realize they weren't really asking for things, they were asking to become who they truly are. Before we close, I have an invitation for you. I want you to think about one area of your life that's calling for transformation. Maybe it's your relationship with yourself, your creative expression, your capacity to trust, your ability to receive love. Whatever feels most alive for you right now. Now imagine that 3 years from today, you've completely embodied the consciousness that naturally attracts the experiences you long for. You're not the same person who watched this video today. You've grown, expanded, evolved. From that future self's perspective, what would you want to share with your current self? What encouragement, what wisdom, what love would you want to transmit? I invite you to share in the comments what came through for you in that moment of connection with your future self. Not because I'm curious about your personal desires, but because when you give voice to your soul's calling, you activate it. Your words might be exactly what someone else needs to hear to give themselves permission to dream bigger, love deeper, trust more fully. Your story matters. Your transformation matters. Not just for you, but for the collective healing and evolution that's happening on our planet right now. When you become who you're meant to be, you give others permission to do the same. There's something magical that happens when we stop trying to figure out how our dreams will manifest and start focusing on who we need to become to receive them. The how becomes the universe's job. Our job is to align our consciousness with the frequency of our deepest desires and then trust the intelligence that's orchestrating every sunrise, every heartbeat, every moment of this miraculous existence we call life. Quantum scripting is ultimately a practice of remembering who you really are beneath all the stories of limitation and lack. You are not separate from the creative force of the universe, you are an expression of it. When you script from this remembering, you're not asking for anything external to change. You're allowing what's already true in the quantum field to express itself through your human experience. The ancient Sanskrit greeting Namaste means the divine in me recognizes and honors the divine in you. When you practice quantum scripting, you're essentially saying Namaste to your own highest potential. You're recognizing and honoring the magnificent being you're becoming, even when the world around you hasn't caught up to that vision yet. Trust the process. Trust your heart. Trust that the intelligence that created galaxies and orchestrates the perfect timing of every season is also orchestrating the perfect unfolding of your unique journey. Your dreams are not random desires, they're invitations from your soul to remember and express who you truly are. Write your new story, one word at a time. Script your transformation, one day at a time. And watch as the universe conspires to make real what you've dared to imagine is possible. The pen is in your hand. Your blank page is waiting. Your new life is ready to be written into existence. What will you create?